guys, so I'm back and it is my second time posting a video today, so a little bit more than I usually do, but they tie together because I'm doing about the same book, but this one is about tips and tricks on how to do a book report, or in my case, quote responses. So let's get to it.
Okay, so if you're ever doing a quote response project or any project having to do with books, like a book report, you always want to make sure that you're marking your book accordingly and that you're marking the pages so that you know where everything is. So that's just what I'm going to show you how to do today. So the first thing I'm going to show you is what to use if you're going to mark your pages. You want to make sure that you're using something you're going to remember. I like to color code my chapters, switching off every chapter. So I did here is orange and blue. You can use these little sticky notes. They're small and they're specialized for it. They have all these little pieces that have a sticky end, and they're tiny enough that they don't take up too much space, and then you can just take it off, and you can even write on it if you really want to. So if you want to write what page it's on or what's important about the quote, you can do that too, and just put it on your page so that you know where it is and you don't have to flip through the entire book to find your quote later. If you can't find those, you can also just use these generic sticky notes. They work for the same reason, and you can find them about anywhere. So you can either use like a whole page, or you can do what I like to do, where you just tear it in half, and then you still have the sticky end on one side, but they're just a little bit smaller, and if you look at it here, you can see it's about the same size as the little purple ones that I used earlier. So if we just hold them up against each other, you see they're not that much bigger, so it takes up about the same amount of space. You can use either one. So the other thing you want to make sure you're always doing is highlighting. I can't press this enough. If you don't highlight your quotes, you're not going to know what you want to use. So make sure you highlight. You can see if I take my book and I flip through, I highlighted a lot. If you see, I have these quotes in here, and it's pretty self-explanatory how to highlight, but you just use your highlighter to mark the pages, not the pages, the quotes that you want to use, and then when you flip to your page that you marked with your sticky notes, you'll be able to find your quote really, really quickly. If you can't find a highlighter like this one, which they're pretty easy to find, but if for some reason you don't have one, you can always use just a generic marker. I have a Crayola marker here that I'm using, and just like use the yellow one. You can use any color, but I like yellow. It's just a typical highlighter color, but you can use either pen. They both work, and yeah. So the final thing you want to make sure you're doing is with your book, make sure that after you highlight your quote, you're writing in it. You don't want to forget what you chose that quote for. You want to make sure that you know. So if it's maybe for your metaphor, or it's foreshadowing, or even for a character, you want to make sure that you know what it's about. So after you highlight your quote so you know where it is, take a pen. You can use just a black pen, or sometimes I just use the same highlighter that I used earlier to mark it. Also, if you have directions like these for your project, make sure that you're marking what you think is important in it. So there's a quote at the top that I think is really important. It's right here. It talks about all the directions, like what the quote should be about. And then I just take my highlighter and I'm just going to highlight it so that I can find it later. And if you have multiple pages of directions, is especially important because you don't want to have to flip through the instructions every time you need to find what you need to do. You want to be able to find it really quickly so that you can continue getting back to your work and you don't get thrown off course when you don't remember. Thanks for watching, guys. And if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up and please subscribe. Have a good day.